All right, guys, so we are recording, and here's your official welcome to our first team call of 2017. Melissa McAllister's call was last week, and so this is our first time to get to be together on a call, and I'm so excited about all the amazing things coming at us this year. So just a few quick reminders for things that are going on right now. It's the halfway point in the month almost. We're almost there. Today's the 12th. We're coming up on the end of the first half of January. And so one of the things that I try to do to keep my business running is to hit Success Club by the middle of the month. Because anytime that I haven't done that and I end up trying to secure it at the end of the month, it's stressful. It always seems to be so much harder. And when you're under the gun and pressured like that, it just takes the fun out of this business. So taking care of Success Club by the middle of the month is really, really important. It allows your conversations to be more natural with people. Your inviting is a lot easier and more fun when you're not pressured for time. So if you haven't secured Success Club yet, get it done. That All Access Pass Challenge Pack is thebomb.com. It is $199, but for some reason, people see incredible value in that, and they're just all over it. It allows us to help them all year long, too. No need to sell another program later on. So be sure you're sharing that. I'm sure you guys have heard the buzz about the Success Club trip for next year. It's going to be to the Riviera Maya in Mexico. 2 different resorts to choose from, both really close together and all-inclusive. And the way that you can earn that trip, I was listening to some chatter about this earlier among you guys, and there was some confusion. You can actually earn that trip by hitting Success Club relentlessly all year long. There are some people who get to register ahead of time early, elite coaches, all-star, Success Club all-star legends, premier coaches, and then coaches who had the most Success Club points in 2016 get to register early. But you guys can still earn it, even if you're not in one of those categories, by hitting Success Club this whole year and getting as many Success Club points as you can earn that trip and get it paid for. It's really, really fun to go on those trips, and it's a great motivator for your business. So when the registration opens, if you want to sign up for the trip, what you'll have to do is go to, I think it's successclub2017.com or something like that. If you just Google Beachbody Success Club trip, 2018, I'm sorry, because it's for next year. The website will pop right up, or you can check your Coach Online office. You do have to pay a $300 deposit when you register for that trip. But do that to put some skin in the game and invest in the trip, and then make yourself earn it by hitting Success Club the rest of the year. I was speaking on Anita Myron's call last night for her team, and if you don't know who she is, she's a 15-star diamond. She was a top 10 coach 2 years ago. Super successful, and she shared on her call that that's what she did the year that she hit top 10. She invested the $300 in the Success Club trip and then made herself earn that trip, and she ended up at the end of the year being a top 10 coach, and that wasn't even what she was aiming for. So there's some systems there in place to motivate you, to help you to be rewarded for your hard work. So utilize that to your advantage. If incentives and rewards like that motivate you like they do me, then that's a great fit for you to be able to push for. We have our first business opportunity event coming up next week. First one of the new year. It's on Monday night at 8 o'clock, and it's called Hot Mess Moms Make Money Getting Fit. And, of course, we have some dudes on our team. We actually have 2 men on our call tonight, which is like, we need to get out the Guinness Book of World Records and write this down. That's never happened. So kudos to Daniel and Jeremy for being on. We're so happy to have you. Oh, and there's Peter. Peter's waving. Awesome. 3 dudes. We really hit a record. But our business event will be catered towards busy moms. Moms that are juggling life and perhaps work and kids and house and fitness and nutrition and trying to figure it all out. And we're going to show them, just by sharing our stories, how we do it, how we make it work, and how we're actually earning money by getting fit and sharing our story. So that's going to be really exciting. There's an event page up. And you guys can invite your friends, your family, people who have been kind of tiptoeing around the whole challenge group commitment or coach commitment issue. And you can invite them and let them know it's a safe place to get some more information. And that's Monday night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And a lot of our coaches will be going live during that event for just a few minutes, covering all kinds of different topics and sharing our stories. So make sure that you participate in that and that you invite your coaches to be on. You can invite your challengers to be on if they want to find out how to get their products paid for. And you can also invite other people who aren't involved with you at all yet. So don't miss out on that. All right, I don't want to take any more time because I want to get to Miss Tracy. So let me give you just a little bit of kind of who Tracy is. And I've never even met Tracy in person. So this is just what I know of her from Facebook. But Tracy is on Amy Hoffman's team under Stephanie Stuckey. And this group of girls, I think a ton of pharmacists in this group. Tracy's a pharmacist. I believe most of them went to Texas Tech Pharmacy School. Is that right, Tracy? Kind of, sort of? No, that's not right. I'll let her clue us in on that in just a second. But she's a mother, she works, she volunteers, and she is an amazing Beachbody coach. She actually hit diamond today, and we're super, super proud of her, ready to celebrate with her. And I'm just going to let her tell you about her story, how she got started with coaching, kind of what she's working on, and her approach to this whole thing. And if you're not following her yet on Facebook, go follow Tracy Corbin because her social media is so fun. She is authentic. She's real. She is paving the way for so many women to be inspired to get started on their health and fitness and just to live a better life as a Christian, as a mom. So, Tracy, I'm just going to unmute you. And go ahead and let you kind of get started.
Sorry, my hips are turned awkward.
Oh, did we get a few other people unmuted, or is it just?
Let me. Yeah, a few people are unmuted. Let me take care of that.
I'll start talking, and you can keep messing with that. Y'all let me know if you can't hear me. I am I'm Tracy Corbin. I'm a mom of two, and I've even got pictures of my kiddos that I'll show you guys in just a minute. I actually went to Southwestern Oklahoma State University in Weatherford, Oklahoma. It's the big time out that way. But I came from this little tiny no stoplights town. I'm from nowhere, Oklahoma, and my husband and I, the last year of pharmacy school, decided to move to the Oklahoma City area. Just because that's where we found a job for him. But that's been an incredible blessing in a lot of ways in our lives. So I actually met my coach, Stephanie, at Southwestern. We were in the same class in pharmacy school. And so that's a really cool connection that we have. We kind of actually reconnected. We have kids that are the same age. Our firstborn kids are within like 6 months of each other. And she introduced me to a group called Nocturnal Nursing that was a group of nursing mamas who honestly just got bored, and we were tired and we needed help when we were up nursing our babies in the night. And so that was sort of my first introduction to Facebook groups, was through Stephanie and this Nocturnal Nursing group. It was just us mamas jumping on there and saying, hey, I'm up for the 4th time with my baby tonight. Who else is up with me? And we would just talk about everything in the middle of the night. So that was sort of my introduction to Facebook groups. I'd never been part of one before that. So Stephanie and I kind of go way back as far as Facebook and accountability and just depending on one another through social media. So I will go ahead and see if I can share my screen, let you guys see. All right, can you guys see my slides? Oh, sorry, I can't see you. Hold on. Well, I don't know. I've never done this before, so I'm learning.
Okay, take your time. Usually when you click on share screen, it'll bring up like what's open on your desktop.
Yeah.
You have to click what you want to actually show, and then there's kind of a button at the top that actually says share screen once you've chosen the one you want.
Okay.
Let's see if you see that.
Share screen. It's not showing the one I want in my little window.
Is it open already on your computer?
Yes.
Well, that's weird.
It's all right. If I need to move forward without the slides, then that's fine too. Yeah, we'll just do that. That's fine.
Okay. Well, we have time if you want to take a second to see.
Oh, it's not a big deal. I can always post the slides in the Facebook
Oh,
group.
that's a great idea. That'd be awesome.
There's nothing like revolutionary on there. Honestly, I just sharing slides because I had 2 teeth pulled last week and I was really afraid I would still be like swollen and nasty looking by then. So thankfully that's not been the case. But so I guess you guys won't get to see my beautiful babies. Follow me on Facebook. They're plastered all over it. So get many of them there. But like I said, I have 2 kids, and that can really change you as a person. I am a pharmacist, and I've been a pharmacist since 2009. I worked a lot in long-term care pharmacy, which can be really demanding. It was with the company that I worked for, it was, 50, 60 hours a week, plus being on call 1 week a month, which was really demanding. And I had hit a point where I really remember a weekend that was terrible on call. I got called like a million times, and I just cried out to God, and I said, God, I need to be rescued. I need out of this situation. I need something different. And within that 4 weeks until the next time I went on call, I had 2 job offers and had accepted another job at the pharmacy that I currently work in. And you might be wondering why this has anything to do with Beachbody or coaching, but it's been a big part of my story and what brought me here. So I had this incredible opportunity to go work for a pediatric rehabilitation hospital that is fantastic, and I love my job. But with my second pregnancy, we had a lot of things changing throughout the hospital, and there was a lot more demands on me as a pharmacist. I was the only pharmacist for the entire hospital. We didn't even have an in-house pharmacy yet. So the big part of getting that started and trying to build a whole department while being pregnant, I started having contractions at 17 weeks. So we were just trying to stay pregnant while still having all this job stress. But it was really building character in me, kind of going through those things. I ended up deciding at like 8 months that I wanted to have a natural labor and delivery. And so I started researching like crazy, because that's who I am. Once I decide on something, I'm going to start hunting down all the information that I can find, and I'm going to feed my head with the positive things and the things that I want, the outcomes that I want. So if I started reading a birth story online and it ended a way that I didn't want to end my birth story, I stopped reading it and I moved on to something else, because I just wanted to fill my mind and my thoughts with all the things that I wanted out of that experience. So I ended up, I was texting with one of the doctors at work trying to figure out a medication order for a patient at 5:45. I went into labor at 6 o'clock and had a baby by 9:38 that night. Actually had my daughter drug-free 8 minutes after I got to the hospital. So it was a crazy experience, but it fundamentally changed who I was as a mom. Partly having a daughter just kind of rocked my world. I saw just like instantly, it was like, okay, now I'm the one responsible for teaching her all these things about how to be a woman. And my first is a son. And so it was a completely different way of parenting a daughter. And that labor and delivery experience with her sort of made me kind of own that part of myself, that part of being a strong woman who can take on anything that I set my mind to. And I was always sort of a go-getter sort of personality. Speaking of sweet little daughters, I see Miranda's there in the background. I'd always been that go-getter personality, but, pharmacy school is tough, and it has a way of kind of beating you down a little bit. And the job that I had where I was just working to death, even through when my son was really young, that just has a way of getting you down and sort of making you just go into survival mode and living every day just to get to the weekend. And so when I had this job change and I had Kate in this really like empowering way, I thought that I had kind of put those demons to rest a little bit. And then I went back to work after having Kate, and work was insane. It was crazy. I was trying to do the job of 3 people, and I just couldn't do it. Even though we were starting to hire some people in my department and things were getting better, it was still just crazy. And so I kind of fell apart in a meeting one day and just said, I can't do this anymore. And they said, we don't want you to. We need you to step away for a couple weeks and figure out a plan for you. And we're going to try and figure out a plan for the hospital. And ultimately, the plan was that I would step down as director of pharmacy, and they would have somebody come in as interim, and then we eventually ended up hiring somebody else. And I look back at all of that, and through that time when, I was asked to step down, it put me into a really tough downward spiral. This is a dream that I had for this facility and a dream that I had for my career. Being director of pharmacy at a pediatric hospital is like dream job, And so it made me really start to question, who am I and what am I doing here? Am I in the right place? Am I doing the right things? And it just really started this train kind of chugging down the tracks for me of maybe I always felt like God was calling me to be a pharmacist, and that was part of the deal. But the whole time, it was like the goal in my mind was, let's work really hard as a pharmacist so someday we can work for free. That's part of my heart, is just to go to other countries and to do stuff like what I'm doing now. A church that we had attended for a while opened a free medical clinic, and so I get to go be a pharmacist there one day a week. And I just kind of saw that God was bringing me to this place that he wanted me to think differently, and he wanted me to let go of the dream that I had built in my head of what my mind would look, what my life would look like, and what my family's life would look like. And I really had no idea at that point that he was using a really hard time to teach me something that I would need bigger for later. We actually, just a few months ago, my husband had worked in corporate IT, information technology. He's a computer nerd, for lack of a better word. And he had worked in the corporate world for his entire career. As you work your way up in his industry, especially in the area that he works in, it can be really a good, well-paying job. And he had that, and we were really blessed that way. We had built our dream home, and we were just settling in, but we had kind of said from the very beginning, once we broke ground on that house, if God says you guys need to give it up, we told ourselves that we would be obedient to that. But we just kind of thought, it'll never happen. It'll be fine. It'll never happen. And little did we know that the beginning of last year would get the ball in motion for huge changes for our family. So it was about the same time. I had started with my coach, Stephanie, after a 7-day Shakeology challenge. I had seen her post on social media, and she just looked energetic and happy and healthy. And she had 3 kids. Like, her youngest, I think, was 4 months old or something ridiculous. And I was like, how do you not look like a zombie all the time? Because I still felt like a zombie, and my daughter was much older. But she invited me. She put that seed out there, and she said, hey, why don't you just join me for 7 days? Try out Shakeology, see what you think. And, we'll go from there. No commitments, no nothing. And so I thought, okay, that's fine, whatever, we'll try it. And I really wasn't expecting much from it. I didn't know a whole lot about it at the time. And so I tried that 7-day Shakeology challenge. And I thought, okay, this stuff is cool. I kind of like having chocolate for breakfast. That's a good thing. And then the following week, I had soul-crushing headaches that I didn't even realize I had been having before that 7-day Shakeology challenge. I didn't even realize that I was having them until they were gone for a week. And I felt so much better. And then I stopped drinking the Shakeology after the 7-day little sampler pack. And I felt awful. And I didn't realize that had been my normal, that I felt terrible for a really long time. And so I talked to my husband about it, and we had been doing T25 a little bit. Shame on us. We had bought it on Amazon. We didn't know any better at the time. But we had been doing T25, and it was just kicking our tails. We were terribly out of shape, and it was too difficult for us. We didn't have a coach leading us to a program that would fit where we were at the time. So Stephanie really walked through that vital process with me, and she helped me find 21 Day Fix, and she helped me get plugged in with Shakeology. And she really just told me, why don't you sign up as a coach? You'll get 25% off your shakes, because she knows I love a bargain. And I was sold. I was ready to go. So I jumped in there and I hit it hard. You guys, I was a nutrition Nazi for that 21 days, and I dropped 7 pounds, and it was like a light turned on in me. And it wasn't just like I was ready to go out and kill my workouts. It was like I felt alive again. I felt like there was just this literal weight lifted off my body, but there was just this like soul transformation kind of thing happening for me. And so after that first round, I lost all that weight. And after that second round, I just kept feeling this just energy that was growing. Amy has a way of running awesome challenge groups that are so engaging and just let people know so much that they're loved and cared for. And I felt that. And I just thought, there is no way that I can keep this to myself. And so at that point, I was so glad that I had signed up as a coach. I really just threw a before and after picture up on Facebook, and I said, you guys, what I've been doing is incredible, and it works, and it will help you to have that fire back in your soul again. It's not just about losing weight. And so I just shared this one post, and I was inundated with people sending me messages and saying, how do I do it? How do I get involved? How do I do what you're doing? And I think I hit like Success Club 8 or something my first month out of the gate, and I had no idea what I was doing. And that doesn't mean that all my following months have gone that way, because they haven't. But I was just like, oh my goodness, maybe there's actually something to this. And I feel really bad for my first few challengers, because I was a terrible coach. I had no idea what I was doing. But it was so great to just plug them in with this whole team of coaches who would love on them and support them and help answer their questions and answer mine when I still didn't know the answers. And I really at that time had no idea of what God was actually doing in me. And what he was doing was developing me into this this person who was going to become brave and bold, and who would have that confidence again that I had been lacking for so long. After going through all I had gone through with pharmacy school and different jobs and all these things, and just feeling pretty beaten down consistently, and feeling like what I was doing wasn't mattering, that I was just spinning my wheels and working so hard and getting nowhere but further down. And I felt like God was transforming my entire life. And a few months into coaching, he even took that a few steps further. He called my husband out of the corporate world and called him into ministry. And that was a really just incredibly crazy time in our lives. We felt God just bringing us together as a couple and as a family. And what we didn't know going into it was that, he still works in IT, so he's still a computer guy, but we had no idea that going to work as a computer guy for a church meant that we would change our church membership. We would, our whole little group of friends that we had at church would be completely shifted, and we would have to let go of a lot. It also meant like a 40% pay cut for him. And so it meant big changes for us financially. So not only did my team help walk me through weight loss and getting my mindset right and learning about nutrition and learning the value of Shakeology, but you guys, they also just prayed me and my family through an incredibly difficult transition time. Even though all these changes were positive, change is hard and change is stressful, even when it's good change. And so just know that you may not even realize, as you're helping your challengers through some of these things with their weight and their nutrition and all this stuff, just know that that you're helping them better their entire life. And you're helping walk beside them in their life, not just in their fitness and not just in their food. It's their life, you guys, that we have the opportunity to influence. And it's incredible. It's incredible that we get to start this business for free while we work on ourselves, and no other job is going to say, put your own self first. Do your own stuff first. Make sure you are good first. And that's what this job does. And I love that about it. So part of my mission over the last year has really become empowering women to lead their families and living a healthy lifestyle. That means healthy physically, emotionally, spiritually, and relationally. I want them to have a healthy relationship with their spouse. I want that to be number one, and then their kids are right there behind them. I want them to have a close walk with the Lord, because I know what that does for every aspect of their lives. I want them to just deal with those emotional demons. You guys, there are so much baggage that we carry, and some that's weight related, some that's just related to things that have happened to us or that we've done or that have been done to us. I've heard it said, that guilt is feeling bad about what we've done, and shame is feeling bad about who we are. And the more I talk to people, the more I find that shame has this underlying way of making us put up those walls, and one of those walls is being unhealthy. If we're unhealthy, we seem unapproachable, and we can build that wall, and we can set up that barrier, and we can allow people to not come too close and not get too close and not be too vulnerable, because we put up this wall. And so that's something that I'm working really, really hard to become a better coach in order to help people walk through those emotional things, because you guys, it's hard. Sometimes you get through a 21-day or a 30-day challenge, and we're not done yet. We're still working through things with them. And so we stay on board with them, and we just continue to let them know that we're there and that we're supporting them and that we're going to be a constant for them. And that's something I'm still learning as a coach and still trying to figure out as a mom and a wife and a pharmacist and all these other things, how to still do that. But that's partly too what I love about this transformation that has happened, is that I feel like it's turned me a little bit inside out. I've gone from focusing so much on myself and my life and my goals and what I want, to turning that around, and how can I help other people reach their goals, and how can I help them to live in a way that they feel like I feel, because I just feel so fulfilled and so blessed in what I'm doing, because I know that it's helping other people and it has such an impact on their lives. Okay. Now that I'm done preaching, sorry, let's get down to the nuts and bolts, the nitty gritty of the call tonight. Since it's our first call of the year, and Miranda, by the way, I'm so honored that you asked me to do this. You could have asked me this a year ago and I'd have been like, you're nuts, you don't know what you're talking about. But I'm so excited to be here, you guys. I love this team and this little family that we have. And normally I would be really nervous getting on here and doing something like this, but you guys are family. I see you every day. I see you all sweaty and crazy looking in your dirty kitchens, and I love it. I love that we have that family atmosphere on our team. But since it is the first call of the year, I think we got to go back to the basics, and it's the vital behaviors, you guys. Those vital behaviors are vital for a reason. It's because they move us forward in our business, they move us forward in our personal journeys, and they make us better coaches so that we can help move others forward. So we have to continue being a product of the product. You got to drink your shake every day, because it's golden, you guys. I don't even think that I think we get so used to drinking it every day that we don't realize just what we have. But that stuff's amazing. You got to be consistent with it, and just tell people about it. That's part of what we do, is just say that we have this awesome thing and we want to share it with people. And also with our fitness programs, especially with this awesome all access pass, you guys, you can pick a program and you can rock it, but you have to be consistent. You have to get in there. You have to print that calendar. You have to be consistent, and you have to get in there and do it. So be a product of the product. Personal development, I can't get enough. I'm so hungry for personal development that I can't even stand it. I wish there were more hours in the day for that alone. But make sure that you're putting your most important personal development first. Your walk goes before any business book, any book about being more confident or more whatever in your business. Your walk with the Lord has to come first, and that will pay off over and over and over in your business and in your life. So make sure and put the first things first. The third is invite. You guys know that one, and I know this is the frog for so many of us. This is the hard one to do, but we have to just remember how this opportunity has changed us and benefited us, and be willing to share that. If Stephanie had never been brave and just reached out to me and said, hey, why don't you try this with me? Then you guys, I really don't know where I'd be. I'd probably be, stuck in that hole of depression that I was really struggling to get out of. And I wouldn't have this group of people who had walked through a process with me that, you guys, honestly, I don't think that we would have been brave enough had it not been for this experience. I don't think we would have been brave enough to walk away from that picture perfect world that we were living in to live a life that is so much more rewarding than we could have ever imagined. Sorry, getting a little weepy. And you guys know the new fourth is still relatively new, I guess, is recognition. This doesn't just mean saying, hey, this coach advanced in rank, which I appreciate so much, you guys. That made me so happy. I had random people at work coming up to me today saying, that's awesome, you're a diamond coach. I don't know what that means, but that's great. It also just means recognizing the good in people. If you see somebody and they just look beautiful that day, you just say, you are so beautiful. You look amazing today. You just tell them that. If you get great service at a restaurant, recognize that. Make it a point to find the manager and tell them how awesome your server was. Just any little thing that you can do to recognize the good in people just brings out the best in them, and it brings out the best in you because you're constantly looking for the good. You're not looking for disappointment. You're not looking for bad service. You're looking for great service, so you'll find it. It'll change your attitude about how you look at life because you will look for the good when you're looking for good to recognize. So keep in mind, this is not just with our challengers. This is a way of life for us, you guys. It's a way that we can show people that our world is not a world of scales and inches, that it's a world of full life transformation. Okay, now we'll get on to, Miranda mentioned my Facebook and my social media and all that. And I can't say enough how much I've learned from Shalene Johnson. If you guys don't listen to her Build Your Tribe podcast, it's amazing. The Shalene show is great too. But Build Your Tribe specifically talks about business and some business strategies there. And then following top coaches, you guys look up the top 10. They just announced those. Get on Facebook, on Instagram, follow these coaches. And even if you don't technically follow them, which can sometimes work against you because then they will run Facebook ads that will search out your friends because they think, oh, if she likes this, her friends might too. So maybe just go to their pages and look at them occasionally. But look at what the top coaches are doing. Ashley Smith had an incredible year this year, guys. Go to her page and look at what she does. She does such a great job of just tying in little bits of Beachbody into everything that she does. And it never feels salesy, and it never feels overbearing, and it never says sale, sale, sale. I know that if your newsfeed looks anything like mine, everyone is in an MLM right now. Everyone. And sometimes I just kind of roll my eyes. I'm like, I don't care that much about lipstick. Like, who's that passionate about lipstick? But maybe they are, and that's fantastic. Good for them. But we want to do this business differently because it is different. It's not about a product. It's about people. And we want to keep that in the very front of our minds. How am I doing on time? We're doing all right. I'll keep chugging. We'll get through. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk with you guys about that is super important is consistency. You have to be consistent in social media. That doesn't mean that you have to consistently post on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat, whatever they all are right now. I'm old, so I don't do Snapchat. But choose one and post there consistently. I love that I can share what I post on Instagram to Facebook. Some people say don't do that. Some people say do. It works for me, so I keep doing it. But you need to be posting 3 to 5 times a day. This doesn't all have to be about Beachbody. In fact, it shouldn't all be about Beachbody. It should be about your life. And Beachbody is just part of your life. So you throw in the post that, hey, I did my workout today. Or that, I'm drinking this amazing shake because it makes my guts stay regular. And maybe that's a struggle for you after all the junk you ate for the holidays. It was for me. So that's why I drink the shake. You just find ways to work it into your day. And another thing that's so important about consistency is that it builds trust with your audience. They see that you're going to show up. People don't want a coach who doesn't show up for them. This is a mistake that I've made early in coaching, is that I didn't know how to follow up with people once the sale was done. But that's something that I'm working on. And that's what I've seen with my social media experience is that when you're consistent, people start to trust you and they start to look to you for as a source of information and as a source of inspiration, because they know that you're going to consistently show up. Now, this doesn't mean that you consistently have great days. It's okay to have bad days. I had some really challenging days last week with this surgery and all that was going on. It hasn't always been fun, but I was consistent in sharing that, just saying, this was a terrible day and everything hurts and I'm dying. But I'm surviving it because I did a 3-day refresh and I got to drink all of my meals for 3 days. So just be consistent. That builds that trust. And it also shows that you're never going to ask of others what you're not willing to do yourself. If you're going to ask someone to join you with 21 Day Fix and work out 7 days a week for 3 weeks and do 21 Day Fix with everything they've got, you got to show up. You can't say, come here and do this and it's going to be awesome, but I don't want it. I'm not feeling it. I can't make it work. I can't fit it in. You guys, that kind of approach just shows people that they can't do it. It makes them feel like if these people who are coaches, who it's their job, can't do it, then how on earth am I going to do it? And that doesn't mean that you got to go hard and work out 7 days a week. You find what works for you, but just be consistent. And just another thing kind of on the technical end of it, being consistent builds your Facebook affinity. So Facebook affinity means how often your posts are showing up in people's news feeds. And the more consistently you're posting and the more consistently people are interacting with your posts, or liking or commenting or sharing, it's going to build your Facebook affinity, and the more of your posts they'll start to see. So that's just kind of nuts and bolts. Not a lot of feelers there, but it's pretty important. Okay, so the second point is that I have a posting plan. This doesn't mean that it's set in stone. It just means that I started to notice that there was a very solid rhythm to my day. I am a person who likes to follow a schedule, and I like to have a rhythm. I'm more productive if I follow a rhythm every day. So I noticed that I was getting up in the morning and doing my workout. So I post about that. Not in a way that says, I got in my workout, that feels nanny boo-boo, you know? Like, we don't want people to feel like we're giving them a hard time because we did our workout and they didn't. Sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, I got my workout in today and it was rough because my kids were bouncing off the walls the whole time. I know you feel that way too. Who's with me? You know, find some way to make that workout post about life as well, so that it's a little bit more engaging. And that helps people to not feel as intimidated by the fact that you're doing something that they may be really scared to take on right now. So first thing in the morning, I post my sweaty selfie, or like today, I post the one that I overslept by an hour, and I just owned up to it, you guys. I turned off my alarm and I overslept, and so I just got on there and I posted a silly selfie that said, dang it, I overslept, you know. And there were so many moms jumping on my Instagram and jumping on Facebook and saying, me too, my kids were late to school today. And so that's huge. Just own up to it and live it and share it. So I almost always drink my shake on the way to work. So that's usually my second post of the day. Those can get a little boring because it's almost always a shake selfie in the car. And I wear black scrubs every day, so even my outfit doesn't change. And so I'm kind of trying to figure out some ways to keep that a little bit more interesting. I think it's helpful. I'm drinking 2 shakes a day now because it's one more meal that I don't have to chew. And so that gives me a little bit more opportunity to share about that. But that's usually my second post of the day. So the first is my workout. The second is my shake. When you're reading personal development, you should always have something inspiring to say because you're having inspiration constantly poured into you. So whenever I was reading a book called Made to Crave by Lisa TerKeurst, if you have not read it, go get it right now. You guys, it's revolutionary. It's incredible. Go read it. It talks about how we were made to crave with that nature about us so that we would crave more of God. Crave more of him, crave more of his presence. And I was just reading this book, and every line I just wanted to highlight and say, this is amazing. People need to hear this, and people need to know the amazing stuff that's in this book. And so I started on my lunch break. I was reading that book, and I started just sharing a little quote out of it every day. And one day I happened to throw on the hashtag midday motivation. And now that's sort of become like a signature thing for me. Every day, Monday through Friday, I post my midday motivation. It may be something motivating about fitness or nutrition or your walk with God, or right now I'm on a big kick about your New Year's resolution. I don't care what it is, but I want to hold you accountable and I want you to hit it, whatever that is. And so just something that's a little bit motivating, even if it's just a silly video to make people laugh or a song that is getting me pumped up that day. I share that consistently Monday through Friday so that people come to expect that. I also lunch a little bit early just because that's my rhythm. That's my day. So it's usually sitting there in people's news feeds when they stop for their lunch break at noon. That may not work for everyone. Honestly, I would say find your thing. If morning motivation works for you, or if you read at 4 in the afternoon, just pick whatever it is, whatever time that is that works for you, and just share something motivating or inspirational every day. But don't make it all about fitness, because that's not what we're all about. We're moms who have hard days, and we're wives who need encouragement and being the helpmate to our spouses. So just share something that has inspired you that day. And maybe even come up with your own little catchy hashtag and, whatever. People love that kind of stuff. After work is a really hectic time for us, just because we're getting home, getting dinner, getting to wherever we need to be in the evening or whatever. But that's the time when I get a lot of engagement on my posts, I feel like. So I try to do some sort of engaging post, like asking what people are having for dinner or asking a question, something that's going to draw people into my Facebook feed and that will push me to theirs for a little bit towards the evening. That's a great time to post a recipe. I get a lot of feedback when I'll post a picture of our dinner and say, who wants the recipe? And that's a great way, you guys, to start conversations, because people say, I do, pick me. And you can say, great, I'll send you a message. And then you send them a message, and it's a great way to start up a conversation. Hey, this is a great recipe. I love that it fits into my healthy eating plan. Do you have an eating plan that you follow? Or could you use some help with meal planning? It's a great door opener, and it's a way to get that engagement. And then I usually use my evening post as something empowering or encouraging. This is where if I'm going to post a challenge group call out or something like that, I'll post it in the evening. But a lot of times it's just, hey, Mama, it's the end of the day, and you made it through another one, and I know you're exhausted, but we're all here together. Just something to be a little bit unifying. My ideal customer is a mom with young kids, ultimately. And so that's who I speak to. I speak directly to them, partly because that's who I am and that's who I know. And so being intentional about speaking directly to the heart of the people that you want to reach is important. And sometimes that can feel really vulnerable. I know I got tons and tons of feedback on a post that I wrote about some struggles that we were having with my son a while back, that we were just, his attitude was all over and he was just out of control a little bit with his emotions, and we were really struggling. And I'm a very emotional person too, so sometimes that means that he and I really butt heads. And I just shared that. I took this beautiful picture of him after he had fallen asleep, after we had fought all evening, and he fell asleep in his bed, and he's this precious little 5-year-old kid. And I just said, Mamas, I know that you feel me. I know that you look at your children when they're asleep and you think, how on earth is that the same person that I've been dealing with for the last 2 hours, Just something to let people know that they're not alone. That's a big part of what we do, is making sure that people don't do life alone. So letting them know that we're going to be there and just love on them in those parts of their lives are really important too. So just to run back through my posting schedule real quick, I do my sweaty selfie, I do my shake, I do my midday motivation, I do an engaging post in the early afternoon, and then I do that evening encouraging or empowering post. You can't, I don't say can't very often, I hate that word, but you can't take this exact schedule and make it work for you unless you have a very similar life to mine. And maybe you do, and that's awesome. But you can look at your day, look at your week, look for patterns there that you can post things that naturally happen in your life consistently. Find a way to post about those consistently so that people come to expect you in their newsfeed, because they'll ask you about it if you're missing. If I miss a day of midday motivation, then people are like, hey, where were you? Is everything okay? And I love that. I love it that they love me enough to call me or to text me or whatever and ask me about it. But I love that they expect it. So that means I just keep showing up. The last little point that I've got is just that I have a goal of every post. And I do have that posting schedule, but if I'm doing something fun with my kids or if they say something funny, like I'll throw in family stuff anytime. Just throw that in whenever it happens. Take that stuff as it comes and just roll with it. But I try and consistently hit those specific topics throughout my day. And anything else is just bonus. So, but the goal of all those posts that are sort of in my posting plan is to add value. Add value, add value, add value. If you're just saying, check out my shake, nobody cares, you guys. That sounds harsh, but they don't care. That doesn't do anything for them. Honestly, it probably makes them roll their eyes and keep scrolling. So find some way for that post to add value. And a lot of that is talking about some of the benefits that you've seen from Shakeology. Like for me, I can say, I had these crazy headaches, and this awesome superfood nutrition shake helped to take those away. And I'm a pharmacist, so like mechanistically that sort of blows my mind, but it just shows how little I knew about nutrition and how amazing our bodies are, that when we feed them properly, we get what we need. So we want to always be adding value. We want to be positive. There's so much crap, honestly. You guys, people are airing their dirty laundry. They're talking about their drama. They're being ugly to each other on Facebook in these weird, catty, cryptic ways. We will not take part in that because we are above that. Not that we're above people, but just that we choose a higher calling. So I try to be positive in all my posts, even when it's the one about how I'm like swollen and bleeding from the head. I try to find some way to make that positive, partly because of the person that I am and partly because that's what the world needs. I have in great big giant letters on my notes for tonight that we just have to let our light shine. Every light is going to be a little bit different and is going to shine a little bit differently and is going to shine into the lives of different people. But this world needs all of the different types of light that we have to offer. You are going to be able to reach people that I can't reach. And I can reach people maybe that you couldn't reach as well because we're just not going to connect on the same level. So let your light shine. Whoever you are, let that light shine. I heard a statistic in college that the naked eye can see one single flicker of a candlelight from 11 miles away in pitch black. And I've just held on to that because I think it's so powerful how in total darkness, you guys, a very small light, even when you feel like you are struggling so hard to find the positive in your life, it will show up because this is a dark, harsh world and it's going to be seen and people are going to recognize that you have something different and they're going to want that. They're going to be drawn to it like a moth to a flame. So just let your light shine. Something to be mindful of is that we can be a mirror for people. Not only can we reflect the things that we're learning onto them, but we can sometimes be a mirror of the things that they're not yet. So it's important to be sensitive to that. Never proud or braggadocious in things. It's awesome to be proud of your results, but you got to let them know that they can do it too, that you're not showing them these results just to show off, but you're showing them these results because you're showing them that it can be done. So you have to be a mirror to show them who they really are. They may be so beaten down. They may be so stuck in that loop of shame that they can't see their way out. And you can be that mirror in their lives that tells them that they were made for more and that there's more in them and that they can do more than be stuck in this hole that they are in. I'm talking with a girl right now that I've known for a long time. She's just going through a ton of stuff. And while I'd love to have her in my challenge group, I think it'd be amazing for her. what she really needs right now is someone to talk her through the process of just getting through each day sometimes as she's going through a ridiculously difficult divorce. And so it's awesome just to be able to have had that door opened by a question about something about fitness, but it's not time for that yet. And we have to be sensitive to that, even especially when people tell us no. Just be sensitive to the fact that maybe it's not time yet. Maybe they are not ready. Maybe it's just not what they're ready to take on right now, because it can be a lot. It's a big thing to take on. So just remember to be that mirror and remind them who they really are. The last thing I have, and my son colored on my page, so I'm not sure that I can read it. But it's basically that success is measured by something that helps us, and significance is how well we're able to help others. That's a really paraphrased quote from John C. Maxwell. If you guys haven't read anything from him, grab any one of his books and you'll be blown away. He talks so much about adding value to people and how to truly value them. And that's just been something that this whole process has really taught me. Just that I am a more valuable person when I value others and when I find ways to help them to see their own value. And so really, I mean, I think ultimately we can simultaneously have success and significance, because as we're helping other people and we're bringing more people kind of into this little family that we've created, that's really not little anymore, thanks to Miranda. She's had incredible leadership. But the more significant we become in people's lives, the more success we're going to see in our businesses. So if we just continue to remember that this is about people and about bringing them into something that has been so transformational in our lives, their transformation may look different, but it will still be transformation. If people get plugged into this, it's almost impossible for them to not be transformed. I see Jackie is on the call, and she's a coach on my team, you guys. She went from just being this person that I would see her in the halls at work, and I loved her. She was precious and so sweet, but she didn't have the light in her eyes that she has now. There has been transformation in her because she is glowing from the inside out. And it's just incredible to watch. And we just have to remember that we're so blessed to witness transformation. We can't ever let that get old. We can't ever get jaded to that fact that we are just witnesses to transformation. And we're so blessed to be a part of it. I'll hush now. I've been yakking your ear off for a long time. But again, Miranda, thank you so much for allowing me to be on here. You guys, thank you for hanging around and for listening. I hope you got some takeaways that you can apply to your own business.
Wow. I want to slap like a big old amen over every single thing that you just said, Tracy. I couldn't stop writing down, like I have all these random pieces of paper because I wasn't prepared. And I'm not surprised that you're having such amazing success, because you are doing this with so much integrity. And my heart is just so warm and fuzzy right now. And I'm not going to start crying because I won't stop, but I could, because I'm just so proud that you shared what you shared. And one thing you said really stood out to me. You said a big part of what we do is making sure people know they're not alone. And I just had this flashback to feeling alone. I mean, who have you kind of thought when she said that, like, I remember feeling alone, and it was instant for me. The feeling just came right back. And I remember going to bed at night, 50 pounds overweight, broke, depressed, and lonely. So lonely. So, when Tracy talked about these barriers of shame that we put up, and we can stand behind our unhealthy situation and just create yet another wall, so incredibly true. So I am so grateful that we got delayed from December and that this became our first call of the new year, because what a movement of the hand of God to make sure that this is what we kick off 2017 with. So I can't say thank you enough. And I am just seriously all glory to God for taking little old lonely overweight me and creating a team where someone like you, Tracy, is here speaking truth into us. And I'm so proud of us and who we are as a team and what God is doing here. So thank you guys for being on tonight. I will share this recording probably sometime in the morning in all the different groups and team pages and messages and everywhere, so you guys can pass it on to your teams. But I know that I speak for everybody that's on and everybody who snags this later as a recording when we say thank you to Tracy and to Stephanie and to Amy for bringing her into our little fit family here. So happy New Year, guys. Go crush it. Go out there and make sure somebody in your life knows that they're not alone. Shine your light brighter, just like Tracy said, and then the success will come to you. So good night, everybody.